Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. When you come up with a bad policy and you implement it and it has negative consequences for the society, probably for a generation or two, what penalties should be applied to the people who came up with the policy, the ones who implemented the policy, and the guys who were involved? Should there be any punishment? And actions have a reaction. Actions have consequences. I'm talking about DEI garbage, diversity, equity, and inclusion. FBI shuts down diversity office. It shouldn't have been an office of that kind in the first place. I will relate this article with my direct experience with DUI, as I call it, diversity, equity, and inclusion, from the time when I was a state employee as an investigator. And I will share some little details about how we were supposed to be regimented, propagandized with this garbage. I think it was just discrimination, and it was a hateful discrimination. We had meetings. All right, so let's start with this one. Please note that there's not going to be any date on this article of when it started. FBI shuts down a diversity office. It shouldn't be there anyway. So this is not necessary to celebrate, it's half celebration. Why? The first one, they reached their goal. They had about, I would say, 4 years of hiring, not based on quality, but based on something else. And then those people, the reactions, is like, for instance, remember the Hitler-Jugend? When Adolf he was not the first one. Who reaches to the heads and the minds of the children will have the votes in when they get adults. That's why the schools are very important, the public schools. So in this case, when these guys had 4 years to hire based on not necessary abilities, because diversity, equity, and inclusion means we're not going to have anything to do with meritocracy here, then those people will become supervisors pretty soon. And the people that they hired is going to be an echelon ready to vote in FBI. You know what I mean? If you don't know what I mean, now stick around. So that's a success for the guys who implemented, who implemented the diversity, garbage, inclusion, and equity. For me, equity is taking from in this case, taking from someone and giving to someone else without meriting it. Why? Because this guy is more successful than that guy, and it must be something that happened centuries back. All right, let's move. US President-elect Donald Trump has demanded all records be preserved for potential review. Now that's a hero. Are you going to fire them? I hope so. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has confirmed the closure of Office of Diversity, Equity and Inclusion, DEI, in a statement to Fox News. This sudden announcement prompted President-elect Donald Trump to call for transparency regarding the office activities and funding. People must go to jail. The FBI, that's what I think is going to be. This was a direct discrimination against one group. One group. The FBI did not specify the exact reason for the closure, but the move aligns with Trump's campaign pledge to reduce DEI initiatives across federal agencies as soon as he is sworn in the office as the 47th U.S. president on Monday. And I'm quoting, in recent weeks, the FBI took steps to close the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, ODI, effective by December 2024, the agency said in a statement. Now, we don't have any date here, any date where it says they were, it was implemented. They just talk about the FBI director, Christopher Wray, who was, it says here in 2017 is that, were originally nominated in 2017. So this guy was nominated and then he remained under the Democrats. What does that tell you? He's a good guy, you think? In this environment? I don't think so. I think these guys are in charge of the guys who nominate them. So that's with that. I'm glad it's gone. That should been out everywhere. Discrimination, remember? No discrimination. That was a form of discrimination. As I think affirmative action is a form of discrimination as well. Why? You give someone because... no. And by the way, let me give you the personal information. So in the Department of Health and Human Services in the state of Michigan, we had mandatory meetings, DEI meetings. At that time, they were virtual through Teams, if I remember correctly, Teams. And we had to participate over there. And there were always the same people present, the same people. It was one who was I can remember the title, some in charge of the diversity for the DHS office where I worked. He was the director of the office in the county that I worked for at that time. And you always had the same two and the third one who were participating, and one was an ass kisser and the other ones were two haters, including the director of the DEI who was also a hater, and the director who was white was very hurt, but she was hurt in a way that she wants to implement equity. She never quit because she represented the group these guys were aiming at. But that is fake. Anyway, so let's move on. You would stay over there. All right, the chief of the DEI office was an African American woman. The two that I was talking about, they were always spewing and being around and telling us story of their past discrimination in the society here, but I don't think they would have it better in any other country they would go to, in the Western world included. They were always the same two. Sometimes one was coming up, they were African Americans, victory. And the ass kisser was a white woman, always crying and always feeling guilty for something that she didn't do. But nevertheless, this was each and every time with equity, diversity, inclusion garbage. I have witnesses. I go and take the stand for that. If you want me, I can testify. But hey, and people were just minding their own business. I'm an immigrant. All right? They say I'm not white. Some of them. So why wasn't I included in diversity, equity, and inclusion? I wonder. Why wasn't I? Well, they knew better. Why? Look at me. Listen to me, and you understand quickly why I was. But nobody was talking. In my exit interview with the director, I told her about this. I told her about her. The director, I said, you kept quiet over there. And if you're so equitable, why didn't you've never removed yourself? I say, you know what? I'm done with being the director. I'm just going to be, let's say, a regular employee, and I will allow someone who was never discriminated. I'm talking about the past discrimination. I'm going to allow them to be in charge of us. Why haven't you done that? I tell you why. Because it's all fake, phony. You don't believe that. So the people who did this, and we had to stay over there. It was only one time, usually one woman who was the one who's white woman, who was talking and was trying to balance the garbage over there. And she was then attacked on her job. She had on her back. I know her. Anyway, these are facts and evidence. You want to challenge me? Sue me. And you're going to find out. All right, my friends, I have names. Why? When I left the office, I didn't leave like a baboon, right? When I gave them the 2 weeks notice, and before that, I was on the baboon, man. I took my pen and okay. All right, my friends, here it is. Diversity, equity, inclusion. Remember, those people who were hired like that. Oh, by the way, at that time when these guys first came with this garbage, if you go on michigan.gov, I think it is, the state of Michigan site, you find employment over there. You can find jobs. It's michigan.com jobs or something. You find over there, and you can find, I found over there, DEI officer. I think that was the title. And it was $84,000 entry level. $84,000. I was not making $84,000 with my senior experience as an investigator. That was entry level. What did they have more? You could read the the requirements for the job, the tasks and the requirements. You can guess. It was nothing about knowledge. It was your experience as a member of. That tells you everything. These people out, including the male, obviously. So, those guys who are promoted then, they will go with time and they will pick up positions in institutions that they will be leading at one point. What do you think they will do? You know exactly. If you don't know, well, then wait. They're going to knock at your door one day. I guarantee you that. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.